Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to today's Deerfield Beach Computer Club Zoom meeting. It's Friday, October the 7th, 2022. I'm your host, Barry Cowan, the president of the Deerfield Beach Computer Club since a long time, 2005, I believe. And again, I want to welcome Bob Gostischa, who's going to be our presenter and co-host as well. And thank you all for attending. A lot of news occurred since we last were here. Google's come out with a whole bunch of stuff, the pixels and whatever. You can see that on our website. Amazon is having a new Prime Days, October 11th and 12th. That's going to be some big event. And of course, iOS 16 has been out for Apple. We expect the iPad OS to come out sometime this month as well. Well, these things are so dynamic, you know, they can, one day can you see yes, and the next day it can be no. But that's the nature of the beast. Also, this is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And it's very important because I did put a link there in your email in the original invitation to staying safe online, where you can read all about what's being done. Cybersecurity is a hot button topic today. Everybody is talking about it. Maybe doing something about it is another thing, but the amount of scams and everything that is proliferating throughout the world is giving Bob a great deal of material for all of his security briefings. So let me introduce to you today's guest speaker, who we all know. Bob Gostischa is a retired banker. He's not only a vast expert, but he's a APCUG, our National Organization Security expert. He's been a mentor and friend of mine for many years, and I would like to welcome him right now. And let's give him a sitting ovation, folks. Okay, Bob, take it away.
Good morning. Nice to be there. I wish I was there in person. Let me start it off that way. And that's been my favorite thing every year, to come and visit. Since the pandemic, of course, that hasn't been possible. Let's hope we eventually will get back to normal. Let me share my screen and share my presentation. Topic for today is cyber safety in the digital age. And this presentation points out the dangers and offers suggestions that will aid in keeping you secure in the digital era. Using the right programs and apps can help keep you safe, secure, and shrink your digital footprint. Using free programs and apps whenever possible to accomplish the goal is a bonus. And this presentation includes information on many recommended free programs. Join me as I guide you in the right direction to enhance your cyber safety in the digital age. I asked my granddaughter to fetch me a newspaper, and she laughed and said, "Grandpa, you're too old. Just use my phone." So I did. I slammed the phone against the wall and killed that big hairy spider. I guarantee you the next time he will bring me a newspaper. The way we live, work, and play has changed dramatically over the course of the past 50 years. The 9-to-5 economies of years past has been replaced with globally integrated 24/7 service offerings. Consumers in the digital age have access to a host of services and products that would have previously been considered available only in the realm of science fiction. Here is a list of the 10 most dangerous malware and security threats we face in 2022. 10 most dangerous malware and security threats for 2022. Clop ransomware works by encrypting your files and asking you to pay a certain ransom amount to have them decrypted. It's one of the most dangerous and feared ransomware variants, and it mostly targets Windows users. Fake updates is a new strategy that cybercriminals are using to trick users into hacking themselves. They will send fake emails asking you to install an operating system update. Zeus Game Over. This virus mainly targets finances and can easily access your bank account details and get away with all the available funds. News malware attacks. This has become a common trick where hackers use trending news to target unsuspecting people. Social engineering. Cybercriminals are now shifting from computers to humans as they find them weaker and easier to trick. They are using deception to lure them into giving out personal details. AI attacks. Hackers are taking advantage of artificial intelligence technology to create links to help them to get into any system. Cryptojacking. This virus is specifically designed to help hackers mine cryptocurrencies. Freeware. Over 600 million cell phone users have already downloaded this malware without realizing its potential harm. RAAS. Ransomware as a Service. This is one of the most common and popular security threats of the year. IoT device attacks. Hackers target Internet of Things devices, which could be anything from smart devices to your doorbell. Most of these devices do not contain extra security measures, making it easier to manipulate to access data, which the criminals can then use to access your accounts. Currently, phishing is rampant. Phishing attacks are more common than ever before, and they regularly lead to fraud, identity theft, and corporate data breaches. But what is phishing and how can you avoid it? Please watch the next video for answers to these questions. The rise in remote work, online shopping, and incompetent FCC leadership creates a perfect storm for scammers. Phishing attacks are more common than ever before, and they regularly lead to fraud, identity theft, and corporate data breaches. But what is phishing and how can you avoid it? Phishing is actually a catch-all term for a variety of cybercrimes. But in its most basic form, phishing, pronounced phishing, is a scam in which a victim is tricked into sharing sensitive information or download ransomware. The majority of phishing schemes occur via email or SMS text messages, and they tend to follow a simple formula. Scammers will impersonate someone trustworthy, such as Amazon, a police department, or an employer, and tell you about a problem that requires immediate attention. Usually, the problem can only be solved by sharing credit card details, opening a malicious file, or typing your login data into a fake website. Phishing schemes can be very sophisticated. Scammers may learn details about your employment, subscriptions, family, or location before attempting a phishing attack. If you order shoes from a website that's been hacked, for example, a scammer may send you an email asking to verify the purchase of your login details. And if you're of retirement age, a scammer may impersonate a young family member to beg for bail money. To be perfectly clear, phishing schemes aren't just directed toward individuals. According to a recent Proofpoint report, over 55% of businesses fell victim to a phishing attack in 2020. More than half of these companies ended up with ransomware on their systems. And unfortunately, several of these phishing attacks led to a data breach, which can expose customer information to hackers. Governments are also a huge target for phishing schemes. The CSIS maintains a long list of successful cyber attacks against government organizations, and many of these attacks were enabled by phishing. You need to realize that regular people are the first and only line of defense in a phishing attack. But Proofpoint's data shows that over half of all full-time workers know nothing about phishing. Clearly, businesses and governments aren't educating people on this topic, which is why it's so important to sit down and learn about it yourself. On the next several slides, we'll talk about the most common forms of phishing. First is email phishing. This is the most common form of phishing. A scammer impersonates a popular website or figure, like Amazon or a politician, in an attempt to steal your information or trick you into downloading ransomware. They may even create a custom domain name to make their email address look official. Spear phishing. Scammers who want to hit a specific target will resort to spear phishing. They gather information on their victim before impersonating a trustworthy person, business, or automated message. Clone phishing. Most phishing emails are sent to victims at random, but in some cases, a scammer will send you a duplicate version of a real email. If you receive an order confirmation, for example, a hacker may send a copycat order information containing malicious links or attachments. Pop-up phishing. Pop-ups are still a common vector for scams and malware. Modern pop-up phishing attacks usually take advantage of a browser's notification settings to send you antivirus warnings. Angler phishing. The world of social media lets scammers angler fish for victims. Essentially, scammers will impersonate a public figure or company on social media. Someone may impersonate a YouTube creator to share scammy sweepstakes links in a video's comments, for example. Whaling. When a phishing attack is aimed toward an important person, such as a CEO, it's called whaling. These targets are often wealthy, easy to blackmail, or have access to a corporation's back end. Smishing and vishing. These terms describe phishing through an SMS text message or phone call. Most of the spam messages or robocalls you receive are forms of smishing or vishing. Here are some tips on how to avoid phishing scams. Due to the rise in remote work, phishing is more popular than ever, and we expect it to remain a huge problem for individuals, corporations, and governments. Phishing scams can be quite sophisticated, so even if you're computer literate or use an antivirus software, you need to keep your eyes peeled. Scrutinize every email or SMS message that hits your inbox. If someone sends you a URL or a file, don't open it unless you can verify the source. And I'm not just telling you to look at the sender's email address or phone number. Try to contact the organization or person who supposedly wrote that email to verify its authenticity. There are some things you should never send through an email or text message. If someone asks you to type out your social security number or credit card info in an email or text, ignore them. Your bank won't ask for this stuff on such an insecure platform, and neither will the IRS or any other reputable company. Some scammers are bold enough to phish through phone calls. They may even impersonate the police, the bank, or your employer. If an unknown number calls and asks for money or sensitive information, hang up. You can always call back using an official phone number from the organization's website. To reduce your chances of being phished, set up spam filters in your email client. You may also want to install an antivirus software and disable website notifications in your browser. Since phishing attacks are so common, I suggest taking some preventative measures to reduce their impact. Use a password manager to create unique passwords for every account and enable two-factor authentication on all websites, as it will lock out scammers even if they have your password. You can also activate a fraud alert through a credit bureau to prevent new lines of credit from opening under your name. I hope this makes you a little more cognizant of all the different types of phishing scams that are out there. One way to lessen our exposure to these malware and security threats is to be cognizant of our digital footprint. Know what your digital trail says about you before it causes you problems. And if you're active online, you have a digital footprint. Everyone does. Every comment made on social media, every news article shared, and every purchase made online contributes to a person's data trail. And your data trail reveals a detailed picture of who you are and what you like. This data is valuable and often monetized by free services and apps like Facebook, Google, and Twitter. When you're logged in, you're being tracked across every page you visit. There are costs and benefits to go with your data trail. For example, when sites know what you like, you see more relevant ads for products and services that appeal to you. When you allow cookies from websites, they remember what you've seen or clicked on and can make your visit faster and less repetitive. Some things can never be erased. Elements of your digital footprint can be searched or shared by others, and something that you thought you were sending as a private message can easily be shared with a larger audience, which can be embarrassing or hurtful. And worst of all, once it's on the internet, it's there forever. Just ask ex-Congressman Anthony Weiner. The internet never forgets. And here's how all of this works. When you visit a website, it collects information about you by installing cookies on your phone, tablet, or computer browser. This information includes your IP address, which is a unique address that identifies a device on the internet or a local network. It also records your login details and anything else about you that you reveal or gets posted about you. When you choose to post on social media platforms, sign up for newsletters or text alerts, or agree to install cookies by clicking the Accept on a cookie consent banner on a website, you are leaving a data record of your activity. Your digital footprint is basically your online reputation. It can be helpful or harmful. What you say online can impact your everyday life. And managing your data trail isn't only about privacy and data security. Employers, schools, and law enforcement could use your online activity on social media to make character assessments. So it's important to keep your online identity positive. Imagine what someone might think about you based on your actions online. Additionally, you may not always be aware of the digital footprint you're creating. Examples of hidden data collection include websites that install cookies without telling you, mobile apps and sites that use geolocation to determine your location, and social media ads or news sites that profile you based on your likes, shares, and comments to serve you advertisements that relate to your interests. Now that you're aware of some of the ways you're leaving a data trail online, the next step is to keep your reputation positive and your data secure. You already know that everything you share and do online is permanent and can either help or hurt your reputation. While some things like viral videos and mega memes can never be fully scrubbed from the web, most places that host your personal information can be adjusted. And here are 9 tips for a cleaner digital footprint. Number 1, search for your own name. Put yourself in the shoes of those who want to learn more about you, whether they are recruiters, hackers, or vengeful exes. It's important for you to know what they'll find by simply searching for you. Use multiple search sites, and since sites can yield different results. And if you have a username, also search for it. I still miss my ex-husband, but my aim is improving. Scrub your public data. Real estate websites and whitepages.com may have more information about you than you might want available to the public. We're talking about personal information like your phone number, age, and even your home address. Contact these websites and have that information removed. Audit your accounts. During your name search, you may have come across old social media accounts, posts with insensitive, outdated jokes, or embarrassing blog posts in which you overshared too much of your personal life. Culture changes, and you deserve to change for the better with it. Dig up everything you've ever posted and evaluate it with fresh eyes. After evaluating your posts for privacy risks and negative content, it's time to edit and delete. Close any accounts that aren't doing any good for your reputation, both now and in the future. And remember, some content can never be fully deleted. Even if you think it's private, law enforcement and hackers can still dig up things you don't want shared. It's best to never share negative posts in the first place. Again, the internet is permanent and it never forgets. Review your account settings in your browser and mobile apps. Minimize the exposure of your personal data by limiting what people can see. This includes your photos, posts, location, and personal information like your address and birth date. Clear your browser history. Even if you believe every website you've ever visited has been safe for your reputation, it's a good idea to clear your browsing history on a regular basis. Using the shortcut key combination of Control, Shift, and Delete will delete that information on all browsers. Better internet privacy prevents history sniffing and helps your browser run faster. Should also clean up your computer. Temporary files, duplicate files, files you thought you trashed, and low-res photos can all slow down your computer and create a security risk. Use CCleaner for Mac or PC to clean up your computer and get it running fast again. Clean up your phone. The more you use your phone, the more junk it collects. Old text messages, cookies, images, and browser history take up a lot of storage. If that data doesn't exist, it also can't be used against you. Plus, your phone will perform better. Clean things up every few weeks. And yes, CCleaner can also clean up your iPhone or Android phone. Be mindful of others. You can create a bad online reputation without writing a single word. Think before you share or repost negative content. When you repost their words and ideas, they become yours. Be especially careful with humor around sensitive topics, including race, religion, and politics. When you post original photos, remember that some people have different levels of online privacy than you. Ask permission before you tag others online, or even better, ask your friends to tag themselves. Blowing out someone else's candle isn't going to make yours shine any brighter. Remember, it's better to be proactive about being positive. Don't post anything you don't want to come back and haunt you in the future. I've probably said this a dozen times, but the internet never forgets. Also, keeping your data trail clean isn't only about your reputation. The junk you allow your devices to collect puts your internet privacy and security at risk. Now that we've covered some of the dangers facing us on the internet, let me share some tools that will make the job of staying safe a bit easier. First tool is CCleaner, a small effective utility for computers running Microsoft Windows, Mac, and Android that cleans out the junk that accumulates over time, such as temporary files, broken shortcuts, and other problems. CCleaner protects your privacy. It cleans your browsing history and temporary internet files, which allows you to be a more confident internet user and less susceptible to identity theft. I always recommend that you install the portable version. You can install that on a flash drive and then take it from one system to the next. Program and app security. Only download from sites and app stores you trust. Only deal with companies you trust. Never download illegal software, and never use a password generator or cracks to bypass paying for a product. Scan your download for malware. Test your program in a sandbox, and if you really aren't sure about something you're about to install, do a backup first. That way, if something goes wrong, you've got a way of going back. Recover, available for both Windows and Mac. Helps you to recover your deleted files quickly and easily. Have you ever accidentally deleted an important file? Maybe you lost files after a computer crash? Not a problem. Recover recovers files from your Windows computer, recycle bin, digital camera card, or MP3 player, and it also works if you have a Mac. It's also important on a regular basis to back up your system. If you don't back it up and something happens to your system, whether it's because of a hardware failure or because of an infection, you're going to lose all of your personal information. You can always reinstall the operating system and your programs and apps, but it's your personal information that's at risk, and that's what you won't be able to recover unless you have a backup. I'm on a Windows system, so I use something that's been around since Windows 7. Backup and restore Windows 7, and it works perfectly on the very latest version of Windows 11. I know because I use it every single week. It's also important to keep your programs and apps up to date. And the program I depend on for that is called Patch My PC Home Updater. And the next little video will show you why I think it's a great program and why everyone should be using it. One free app that's been a pleasure from the day I first started to use it. It's Patch My PC Updater. And I never know it's there until it's time for it to do its job and let me know there's a program that needs to be updated. And we all know keeping your programs up to date is just as important as keeping your operating system up to date. And it just let me know I have 3 programs that need updating. And it's very simple. Just hit the button that says perform the 3 updates. At this point, it just goes out and does the job. It doesn't bother me. And as you can see, the job is done. My programs have been updated, and I know my security on those programs are as up to date as possible. I'm going to put a link to the download for this program in the notes for this video. Something I think everyone should be using, and it's capable of updating over 300 applications. And if I scroll through here, you'll see there are lots and lots of programs and lots of different categories. And the only ones that it ever does anything with are the ones that you have installed. And if you install something new, 9 out of 10, it's probably part of something they're already capable of updating. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. If the program is listed in all those programs on there, you can not only use it to update those programs, you can actually check the box and use it to install the program. A tool that I use to keep my internet running smoothly is called Complete Internet Repair. Whenever I have a problem with my internet access, this is my go-to tool. Provided the problem isn't with your internet service provider, you run the tool, check the top 5 boxes, and let it do its work. A system restart is required to finish the repair. I personally have never ever not had my internet access back after using this tool. Of course, it bears repeating, if the problem is between you and your internet service provider, this tool or any other tool won't help you. You have to solve it between you and your internet service provider. For everything else, this will get you back online. It's also important to learn the ins and outs of your system, both hardware and software. And what I use for that is Specky. Once installed, it's gonna open your eyes as to all the things that you really didn't know about your system. It also tells you about all the stuff that's installed and running on your system. Before you install any program, the first thing you should be installing is called Unchecky. Installers often try to sneak additional programs as a natural part of the installation. Unchecky warns you when you try to accept a potentially unwanted offer, which makes it less likely to be accepted accidentally. Most folks, when they install a program, use a default install. And when you do that, whatever the company wants to put on your system is what you're going to wind up getting. You should really be using nothing but a custom install. But if you do use the default installation, Unchecky will warn you when they try to sneak something by you. So it's a great program that should always be there anytime you install something new. Passwords need to be long and strong, and you should be using a different password for everything that requires a password. As it says here, passwords are like underpants. Change them often, keep them private, and never share them. I've listed quite a few of the popular password managers. I personally have used LastPass for many, many years. And about 8 months ago, I also added Bitwarden to my systems. So I have 2 password managers running. The reason for it is simple. If LastPass decides to quit tomorrow, then Bitwarden has my back and my passwords. And of course, if Bitwarden quits, LastPass still has them. But I won't wind up all of a sudden that the program I depend on to keep track of all my passwords, if it quits, I'm now lost. Hence, 2 password managers are better than 1. Two-factor or multi-factor authentication. Two-factor is an extra layer of security used to make sure that people trying to gain access to an online account are who they say they are. And the next, First, the user will enter their username and password, and then instead of immediately gaining access, they'll be required to provide another piece of information. That second factor comes from one of several categories, the most common of which is your smartphone, email address, or some other biometric device. It simply means that just your username and password won't log you in, because hackers can steal your username and password. It is unlikely, however, that they at the same time also would have stolen your smartphone. And if they don't have the smartphone or some other device or method, they won't get the extra code needed in order to get to your account. So you're safe, even though they stole your username and password. VPNs, virtual private networks, helps you to stay safe when you connect via a public or unsecured network. A public network is any network where you don't control its security. And the next little video will tell you all about VPNs. So how does a VPN securely encrypt your connection? If you're shopping for a VPN, you'll have seen how services boast about having the best encryption and how important it is that you secure your connection using cryptography. But how do VPNs encrypt your connection, and are there different types of encryptions to choose from? VPN tunnels. To explain how VPNs encrypt your connection, we need to first look at so-called VPN tunnels. Normally, when you visit a site, you connect to a server operated by your internet service provider, which redirects you to the site you want to visit. When you use a VPN, you're rerouting your connection. Instead of going from the internet service provider's server to the site, you first go through a server operated by your VPN provider. This gives you a new IP address, which comes in handy for a number of reasons. But the VPN also performs another neat trick. It encrypts the connection from your ISP to the VPN server in what's called a tunnel. A VPN tunnel is an encrypted connection that prevents anybody else, including your ISP and the site you're visiting, from tracking you. The ISP won't be able to see the websites you're visiting, and the websites you're visiting won't be able to see your real IP address. Tunnel is a great name for it, as it works like it would if you were driving down the road. While in the open, anybody can see what you're doing and where you're going. But once you enter a tunnel, your whereabouts are anybody's guess. Of course, VPN tunnels aren't made with bricks and mortar. Instead, they're created by so-called VPN protocols, which we'll look at next. To establish a VPN tunnel, you need to use a VPN protocol, which is a piece of software that determines how a VPN talks to other machines on the network. A protocol can do a lot of different things, but most importantly, it contains information about what encryption is used and how traffic is routed through the server. As such, VPN protocols are very important, as they can determine the speed and security of your connection. There are a lot of different VPN protocols to choose from, but the best all-around one is called OpenVPN. It generally offers decent speeds while staying secure, which is of course the main reason why many people get a VPN. VPN protocols generally will give you the option of what type of encryption will be used in your tunnel, which is what we'll look at next. Encryption. VPNs keep your connection secure through encryption, which is a way to make messages unreadable by scrambling them to nonsense. To unscramble them, you need a key, a piece of code that serves as the lock for the scramble. This key, usually a mathematical formula called an algorithm, is also known as a cipher. How it works with VPNs is that your connection is encrypted when you connect to the internet, the start of the tunnel, so to speak. Once it arrives at the other end, at the VPN's server, it gets decrypted and sent along to the site you're visiting. The result is that the site sees the VPN's server IP address and your ISP sees a stream of scrambled information. There are different types of encryption. To ensure that information stays safe, you need to use a good type of encryption, and not all are created equal. As a result, many VPN providers will boast that they offer military-grade encryption, which is just a fancy way of saying that they use the same encryption algorithm as the military. The most used encryption is the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES for short, which comes in several variants. Each variant uses a different number of bits to encrypt its key. Longer offers more security. The most secure is AES 256, which means it uses a key of 256 bits and would take your laptop until the heat death of the universe to crack. In other words, it's pretty darn secure. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Protecting the key. Well, it's secure except for one issue. The key itself also needs to be protected. To do so, it's usually secured using TLS, or Transport Layer Security. This technology is common across the internet and used in all kinds of technology, from cloud storage to HTTPS, a protocol you're using right now to read this web page. We know it's all very involved, but the upshot is that no intruder can crack the ciphers of a VPN tunnel. If you're using a VPN and they take security seriously, there's almost no way in which your connection can be cracked from the outside. I personally use and can highly recommend Avast's Secure Line. Just follow that link to reach the product. My thanks to Fergus O'Sullivan from How to Geek for his very informative article on this topic. You'll find the entire topic at the link listed. Brand new product from Avast called Avast One. Avast One also has a free version, which is called Avast One Essential. Essential protection for your life today. It helps block viruses and malware with an advanced antivirus, keeps intruders out with a firewall, get extra privacy when you browse, bank, or shop, secure your Wi-Fi connections with a free VPN, and you get 5 gigabytes of encryption per week. Find compromised passwords and help speed up your PC. This product is available for Windows, for Mac, for Android, iPhones, and iPads. So almost for everything that connects to the internet. Avast also offers a secure browser built on Chromium. Specifically, it is designed to keep you safe when you do your banking and shopping. When you're in banking mode, no one can see what you're doing. Nothing can get in when you're in banking mode, and it's specifically designed for that purpose and should be used anytime you do anything that involves money.
Browse the web faster and safer with Avast Secure Browser. Your browser is not as private as you think. Hackers, trackers, and ISPs are out to steal your data. But with Avast Secure Browser, you're protected. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi and unlock the internet with built-in VPN. Automatically block creepy ads that follow you around and slow you down. Create custom and security privacy settings. And securely sync your data across multiple devices. With powerful encryption to protect your IP address, bookmarks, history, downloads, and online activity, it's all locked behind your PIN code or fingerprint to keep your data safe from prying eyes. For private browsing that's actually private, make the switch to Avast Secure Browser. Download free today.
My presentations are never done until we have a little fun. So for the remainder of the presentation, please unmute yourself. Don't worry, when you get old, I'll feed you carrots too. Here's a trick. This is what you do when you want to charge your iPhone or Android phone and your electricity is out.
That won't work.
Answering your phone, Sheriff's Department, Fraud Division, sure has slowed down the telemarketer calls. If you live in a rural area, you've probably seen many of these trucks going by. And it's nice to be called yesterday's meals on wheels. Certainly sounds better than a load of crap going down the road.
Yeah.
When a woman says what, it's not because she didn't hear you. She's just giving you a chance to change what you said. I'm trying to eat healthy, so here's my version of a salad with bacon bits.
A lot of bits.
And since we're on a health kick, this is a good sign to hang in your fridge. You're not hungry, you're bored. Shut the damn door. I thought this was really nice because I'm one of those people that gets the munchies at night, and I should not be going into that fridge after supper. Since I've started packaging my trash like this, my neighbors respect me. They say good morning with a smile and keep the music volume really low. Give it a try, it works. Here's something highly recommended for those of us over 50.
And this morning's exercises. Over to the left and over. And over to the right and stretch those limbs. And then walk tall away.
Even I can do that. I've been doing these presentations since 2010 and didn't really expect to still be doing them today. My presentations are always designed for the average computer user, not the geek. I try to keep them simple. If you know of any other clubs, organizations, churches, synagogues, any group of technology users that would benefit from a presentation, have them contact me and I'll be happy to arrange a program for them. There's never a charge to the club or its members for my services. That's where Avast comes in. The arrangement that I have with Avast is that they pay all of my expenses from the second I leave home until I get back. And that's worked fine for the first 10 years. And then the pandemic hit. So now I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing all of this from home. Avast has been getting a bargain. I can't wait to get back out on the road. And maybe Alice also feels the same way. If you're interested in any of the other activities, the many things that I do online, just follow that link at the bottom. And that's enough of this sales pitch. The link listed here gets you access to all of the things we talked about today. And if you don't copy it or don't get it right, don't worry, because Barry gets a follow-up email from me, and that'll be passed on to everybody, so you'll still have access to all of this. I'm going to get out of this, stop sharing, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great job, Bob.
Thank you, Barry.
Another tour de force.
Does anyone have any questions for me?
You can click the raise hand icon, or post something in the chat.
There's a small enough group. If you got it, just ask. Make sure you unmute yourself.
Right.
You showed a picture of a phone charging on a strip
Mhm.
and said that'll work when, how does that work when that's charged into your, how does it work if that's into your electricity?
You weren't supposed to notice that.
Mhm.
Oh,
It was a joke, Judy. You weren't supposed to.
oh, I said to myself, what does he know that I don't know? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Irving,
Irving.
Bob, I hope I heard you correctly. You mentioned quite a few apps that you put on your computer. Are they continually updated, or or do you replace them from time to time?
no, they continue to be updated. When a program no longer received updates, it's time to find a replacement for them. Unless it's a program that doesn't require updates, but most programs require, or apps require, updates. And all of the programs that I use, they do have updates.
Thanks.
Mike?
Yeah, a lot of the things you mentioned, Vast One and so on, are they paid for or are they free?
Avast has two versions, free and paid. I have never used anything except their free version. I'm a cheapskate.
Me too. Okay, good.
Harry?
Yeah, when I'm searching, sometimes you get these wicked ads that keep coming up. And then you get a pop-up that says, if you click this, you will block these ads from coming in. In your experience, what's the best way to, let's say if you're on YouTube, what's the best way to block the ads from coming in the middle of a thing?
Pay for YouTube Plus. You won't have any ads.
That's premium, Bob.
That's, yeah, YouTube Premium. Then you have no ads.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, in YouTube, those ads are there for the person who makes the videos to earn some money.
Okay,
Okay. Now,
thanks.
any place else where you're getting ads, you should be using a pop-up blocker. uBlock Origin is an excellent one. Anyone else?
Okay.
If not, thank you very much for having me. Let's hope next year I'll be there in person.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Stay safe and well.
You do all
That
do
was
the same.
great. Very,
Great.
very well done.
My good friend. Okay. Folks, anything that you have to say, maybe, not sure what I would like to do, maybe 2 weeks from today, which is October 21st, which will be our next meeting. Probably it's going to be something related to iOS 16, which is really had 400 different features in it when I checked it. There's just so much there. You could do whole courses on it. Yes, Mike.
Mike, you're muted.
Mike,
No,
you
I'm
need-
just leaving. That's all. I've got a
Oh.
call to go and get my booster jab, so I'm leaving.
all right,
Right.
take
All
care.
right, see you next time.
Yes, cheerio. All right. So, Steve, anything you got to say? Costello?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, I mean, that's an awful lot of material there. Bob will send me the link for that, and I will post it on our handouts or something, so you'll all get it, all those excellent programs that he mentions every one of his presentations.
Barry will
Bob,
have that recording up, and once it's up, I'm going to be borrowing it because this is the first recording made of the updated version of this presentation.
and you're welcome to it. I'm gonna try and put that thing up no later than tomorrow, or maybe this evening. I'll let you know.
Yep. Thanks, folks.
There was so much in it to digest that I don't even have questions yet because I have to re-look at it all to figure out what I might want to ask about.
Good,
Yep.
good.
And Bob, tell them about your Tech for Senior things and your cybersecurity and your security updates and things that you do.
Well, Tech for Seniors is a weekly show every Monday at noon Eastern time. Actually, we have a half-hour Q&A or gab session that starts at 11:30 Eastern every single Monday. And we cover technology. Has quite a few features every single week. We've been doing it for almost 3 years. It's open to anyone. techforsenior.com. www.techforsenior.com.
You will not be disappointed.
If you got nothing to do on a Monday at noon, come and pay us a visit. Huey is part of it. Ron Brown, Ray Baxter.
Bob, I owe you an apology. I didn't put the right title in for your presentation today. I had cybersecurity in the digital age and you had cyber safety. I'll make the appropriate correction.
Same difference.
And that site that I mentioned, staying safe or staysafeonline.org, is that it?
Yep.
One that I highly recommend that you look at. I put it into your Monday's invitation. And with that,
Bye-bye.
let's all say goodbye to each other. There's not much more to say except stay safe and well. And thank you for attending.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
God bless.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's all, folks.
Mm-hmm.